Have you ever wondered what happens when a Sigma female reaches her limit? What if someone pushes her too far? Most people mistake her silence for weakness, but they forget she is not someone to mess with. When she finally snaps, it's not loud, it's not chaotic, it's something far more powerful. She walks away without a second thought. A Sigma female doesn't waste time arguing with people who don't respect her. She doesn't beg for apologies. She doesn't wait for someone to change. When she's been pushed too far, she makes one simple decision. She walks away. And when she does, it's final. Most people don't see it coming. Why? Because she doesn't give warnings. She doesn't believe in wasting energy on empty threats. While others might scream, fight, or plead, she does something far more powerful. She disappears from their life without looking back. At first, people might think she will return. They assume she'll forgive, like everyone else does. But a Sigma female is different. Once her mind is made up, there's no undoing it. She doesn't hold grudges, but she also doesn't tolerate disrespect. When she decides to walk away, she does it with a quiet strength that leaves people stunned. Why does she walk away instead of fighting? Because she knows her worth. A Sigma female understands that not every battle is worth fighting. She values her time, her energy, and her peace. She refuses to waste any of it on people who bring negativity into her life. She doesn't need to prove herself. She doesn't need validation. She knows that walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom, and the best part, she never regrets it. While others stay trapped in toxic relationships, unhealthy friendships, or draining environments, she has the courage to move forward. She chooses herself, her growth, and her happiness. How does she handle it emotionally? Unlike others who struggle with letting go, a Sigma female doesn't dwell on the past. She doesn't sit around wondering, what if? She processes her emotions, learns her lesson, and moves on. It's not that she doesn't feel hurt, she does. But she refuses to let that pain hold her back. Instead of seeking revenge, she focuses on her future. Instead of chasing people who don't deserve her, she builds a life where she doesn't need them. And that is what truly sets her apart. So, if you ever push a Sigma female too far, don't expect a dramatic reaction. Don't expect begging, crying, or pleading. Expect silence. Expect distance. Expect to see her thriving without you. And by the time you realize what you lost, she'll already be too far gone. She cuts off toxic people like a boss. A Sigma female has no time for fake friendships, manipulative relationships, or energy-draining people. The moment she realizes someone is toxic, she doesn't waste time explaining, negotiating, or giving endless second chances. She cuts them off. And when she does, it's swift, silent, and absolute. Most people are used to drama. They expect shouting matches, emotional breakdowns, or long explanations. But a Sigma female operates differently. She doesn't believe in unnecessary confrontations. She doesn't give someone the satisfaction of knowing they got under her skin. Instead, she removes them from her life without hesitation, like a queen removing a chess piece that no longer serves its purpose. Why is she so quick to cut people off? Because she values her peace more than she values pleasing others. She understands that allowing toxic people to stay in her life only drains her energy and slows her growth. She refuses to be surrounded by negativity, dishonesty, or manipulation. She has high standards, not because she's arrogant, but because she respects herself. She knows that keeping the wrong people around will only lead to disappointment and stress. And if someone repeatedly crosses the line, she won't stick around hoping they'll change. She's too smart for that. Does she feel guilty? Number A. Sigma female doesn't believe in feeling guilty for protecting her energy. She's not heartless. She simply knows that some people are better loved from a distance, or not at all. She doesn't waste time explaining why she's walking away. She doesn't write long messages listing every mistake the other person made. She doesn't engage in emotional debates. She simply disappears from their life. And when she does it with zero regrets. How does she do it? She stops answering calls and messages. She removes them from her space, physically and digitally. She stops engaging in their drama. She moves on as if they never existed. And the beauty of it, she doesn't announce it. She doesn't post about it. She doesn't seek validation. She simply removes herself from the situation, knowing she deserves better. The lesson? Never take a Sigma female's presence for granted. She may be patient, but she is not a fool. If you push her too far, betray her trust, or drain her energy, she won't fight with you. She'll erase you. And by the time you realize what you lost, she will be too busy thriving to look back. 3. She becomes even more independent. When people push a Sigma female too far, they expect her to break. They think she will fall apart, drown in sadness, or beg for support. But they forget one thing: she was independent long before they came into her life. And when they push her to her limits, they only make her stronger. A Sigma female doesn't waste time proving her worth to those who don't appreciate it. Instead of fighting for attention, love, or approval, she redirects that energy into herself. She becomes more focused, more driven, and more self-sufficient. While others crumble under pressure, she rises above it. How does she become even more independent? She stops relying on people who show her they're unreliable. She removes distractions and puts all her energy into personal growth. She levels up in silence, mentally, emotionally, and financially. At first, people might think she's struggling. They expect her to come running back, asking for help or validation. But a Sigma female is built differently. She doesn't need anyone to survive, she only needs herself. Does it hurt her? Of course she feels the pain. She is human. But the difference is, she doesn't let pain control her. Instead of letting heartbreak or betrayal weaken her, she uses it as fuel. Every challenge, every disappointment, and every betrayal only pushes her to become the best version of herself. While others waste time playing mind games or seeking revenge, she's too busy building her empire. She takes the lessons, applies them, and moves forward with more strength and wisdom than before. What happens next? She reinvents herself. She steps into a new chapter of her life where she is stronger, wiser, and completely unstoppable. She sets new goals, takes on new challenges, and proves to herself once again that she never needed anyone to save her. And the best part? The people who doubted her, hurt her, or underestimated her eventually realize their mistake. They see her thriving, succeeding, and glowing in her independence. But by then, it's too late. She has outgrown them. She has moved on. The lesson? If you push a Sigma female too far, don't expect her to come back begging. Expect her to disappear, evolve, and succeed beyond your imagination. Because while others rely on the world to lift them up, she builds herself, stronger than ever, completely unstoppable. She doesn't let emotions control her. A Sigma female feels everything deeply, but she refuses to let her emotions run her life. When people push her too far, she doesn't react the way they expect. She doesn't explode in anger, break down in tears, or seek revenge. Instead, she stays calm, processes the situation, and makes her next move with clarity and purpose. Most people assume silence means weakness, but in reality, her silence is her strength. While others lose control, say things they regret, or act impulsively, she remains composed. She knows that emotions are powerful, but she also knows that letting them control her is a mistake. How does she stay in control? She takes a step back before reacting. When something upsets her, she doesn't lash out immediately. She gives herself space to think, reflect, and decide the best course of action. She chooses logic over emotional outbursts. If someone disrespects her, she doesn't waste time arguing. She analyzes the situation, understands their true intentions, and acts accordingly. She refuses to let others manipulate her emotions. Some people push buttons just to get a reaction. A Sigma female doesn't give them that satisfaction. She remains unreadable, making it impossible for manipulators to control her. Does this mean she doesn't feel pain? Of course not. A Sigma female is not emotionless. She simply refuses to let emotions dictate her decisions. If she's hurt, she allows herself to feel it, but she doesn't dwell on it. She processes her emotions privately, learns from the experience, and moves forward stronger than before. This is why people find her so intimidating. She is unpredictable. While others are easy to manipulate through guilt, anger, or sadness, she remains unaffected. She decides when and how she expresses herself, on her own terms. What happens when she's finally had enough? She doesn't yell, she doesn't break down, she simply walks away, never looking back. And that's what makes her so powerful. She doesn't need revenge, she doesn't need to prove anything. The greatest response is her indifference. The lesson: if you try to push a Sigma female into an emotional reaction, you'll be disappointed. She won't give you drama. She won't beg for understanding. She won't let anger cloud her mind. Instead, she will remain calm, make her move, and leave you wondering how she became so unshakable. Because at the end of the day, a Sigma female is in control, not just of her life, but of herself. And that's what makes her unstoppable. She learns, adapts, and becomes even wiser. When you push a Sigma female too far, you don't break her, you make her stronger. Every challenge, every betrayal, and every disappointment only adds to her wisdom. Unlike others who stay stuck in negativity, she sees every experience as a lesson. She doesn't waste time complaining or feeling sorry for herself. Instead, she observes, learns, and adapts. Most people go through hardships and come out bitter. A Sigma female comes out better. She refuses to let setbacks define her. Instead, she takes them as opportunities to grow. If someone deceives her, she doesn't just get angry. She studies their behavior, understands their patterns, and makes sure she never falls for the same trick again. How does she learn from pain? She reflects instead of reacting. Instead of drowning in emotions, she takes a step back and analyzes what happened. She asks herself, what can I learn from this? She sharpens her instincts. Each experience helps her recognize red flags faster. She becomes better at reading people, understanding intentions, and knowing when to walk away. She grows stronger, not weaker. Where others might let pain break them, she uses it as fuel to become an even more unshakable version of herself. Does she ever regret the past? No. A Sigma female doesn't waste time regretting things she can't change. She understands that every person, every mistake, and every hardship played a role in shaping her into the powerful woman she is today. Instead of wishing things had been different, she focuses on how she can use her experiences to level up in life. People often underestimate her ability to adapt. They assume that just because she was hurt, she'll stay down. But what they don't realize is that she's always evolving. The person they betrayed, disrespected, or doubted is not the same person she becomes after learning her lesson. By the time they realize their mistake, she has already outgrown them. What happens next? She moves forward, stronger, smarter, and completely unbothered. She doesn't repeat the same mistakes, she doesn't fall for the same lies, and she doesn't entertain the same toxic cycles. Every time she is pushed too far, she emerges sharper, wiser, and more unstoppable than before. The lesson: if you try to break a Sigma female, you'll only end up teaching her how to navigate life even better. She learns quickly, adapts effortlessly, and never lets the past hold her back. Because no matter what happens, one thing is certain: a Sigma female always comes back wiser, stronger, and more powerful than ever. Why this matters? The world underestimates Sigma females. Society expects women to be overly emotional, dependent, and constantly seeking approval. But a Sigma female is different. She stands in her own power. She doesn't follow the crowd. She doesn't beg for validation, and she doesn't tolerate disrespect. When people push her too far, they expect her to break. They assume she will react in anger, seek revenge, or try to prove her worth. But she does something much more powerful. She rises above. She walks away. She levels up. And in doing so, she proves that true strength isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the smartest. Why does this matter? Because too many women are taught to stay in toxic situations. They are told to be patient, to give endless second chances, and to shrink themselves to keep the peace. But a Sigma female refuses to live that way. She understands that protecting her peace is not selfish, it's necessary. She knows that her silence, her boundaries, and her ability to walk away are her greatest weapons. A Sigma female doesn't just survive hardships, she transforms because of them. Every challenge makes her stronger, every betrayal makes her wiser, and every loss only clears space for something better. This matters because it's a reminder that your power lies in how you respond. You don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes the most powerful move is to remove yourself from situations that no longer serve you. It proves that self-respect is more important than pleasing others. You don't need to explain yourself, beg for understanding, or force anyone to see your value. You simply walk away, knowing your worth. It reinforces that independence is strength. A Sigma female thrives on her own. She is not afraid to stand alone, build her own path, and create a life that brings her peace. The world may not always understand her, but that doesn't matter. A Sigma female doesn't need to be understood. She just needs to stay true to herself. And that is what makes her unstoppable. The lesson? If you are a Sigma female, never doubt your strength. Never let people make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. And never allow anyone to push you into becoming someone you're not. You're not weak for walking away. You're not heartless for cutting people off. You're simply someone who refuses to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And that is why you will always rise above. Subscribe to Timeless Stoic Learning for more empowering insights. Let's grow, evolve, and conquer together.